All right, let's take a journey back in time. We're going to explore one of history's most haunting and weirdly one of its most well-preserved tragedies. We're talking about the final day of the Roman city of Pompeii.
I mean, just let that sink in for a second. An entire city just gone. Not just destroyed, but frozen. One minute it's a bustling hub of life, the next, it's completely sealed under volcanic ash. It's not just a story about destruction, it's about preservation, in probably the most tragic way you can imagine.
So, to really get a handle on what was lost here, we've got to go back to the beginning, right before the disaster, on what everyone thought was just another ordinary day. Okay, so picture this. It's 79 AD. Pompeii is absolutely buzzing with life. I want you to imagine a classic Roman city, right at the foot of this big green mountain. The streets are packed with people, the markets are thriving, you can practically hear the sounds of the community all around you. It's this vibrant, bustling center for business and culture. And this, right here, is what's so incredibly chilling. Life was just normal. People were out shopping, eating, laughing. Friends were catching up, families were having dinner. They were even painting political graffiti on the walls. And nobody, absolutely nobody, had a clue that in just a few short hours, all of it would be gone, that none of it would matter. And then, everything changed. Without any warning at all. That big, quiet mountain that had always been there, just looming in the background, well, it was about to wake up and show everyone its true, absolutely terrifying power. You see, for centuries, the people of Pompeii had looked at Mount Vesuvius as just a mountain, a big, green, fertile landmark. They had absolutely no idea it was a volcano, and certainly not one that was about to erupt in the most violent way possible. And just look at how fast this all happened. In the very first hour, bam, a massive column of ash and rock just shoots miles up into the sky. An hour later, the sun is gone, just blotted out. The city is plunged into total darkness in the middle of the day. Then by hour 3, a deadly rain of burning ash and debris starts coming down. And just a few hours after that, thousands are trapped by poisonous gas, and buildings are starting to collapse.
You can just imagine the sheer panic. People are running everywhere, desperately trying to find shelter, trying to get out of the city. But it's too late. The air is getting thick and unbreathable with toxic gas and hot ash. The very city that was their home, well, it just became a death trap. And this is where the story of Pompeii gets really unique. It's not just about what was lost that day. It's about what was, in a really bizarre and tragic way, perfectly preserved. I mean, think about it. When we find most ancient ruins, what do we get? Some broken pots, maybe the foundations of a few buildings. But Pompeii? Oh, it left us something so much more personal. And, honestly, so much more chilling. Here's what happened. The layers of ash that buried the city hardened over time, and they created these perfect hollow molds around the people where they fell. It took centuries, but when archaeologists found these voids, they had a brilliant idea. They carefully poured plaster into them, and what they got back were these incredibly detailed, haunting statues, casts of the people of Pompeii in their final moments.
And that's when the human tragedy really hits you. You see these forms, people huddled together for protection, someone covering their face, a mother clutching her child. These aren't just artifacts in a museum. These are the last, desperate seconds of real people's lives, captured forever. So for hundreds and hundreds of years, this entire city, all its stories, its secrets, its sorrows, it just lay there, completely hidden from the world, buried deep under tons of ash and rock. Think about that number. For almost 1,700 years, Pompeii was basically a myth, a lost city. Its name was just a little whisper you might find in some old, dusty book. It wasn't just buried, it was forgotten. But then, when they finally started digging in the 1700s, what they found was just breathtaking. That thick layer of ash had acted like a time capsule. It had protected everything, buildings, art, everyday objects, even food, from centuries of decay. It wasn't a ruin, it was a perfect snapshot of life in ancient Rome. And it's the little things, The details are just mind-blowing. We're talking about actual loaves of bread still sitting in the ovens, political slogans scribbled on the walls, shops that look like they were just about to open for customers. They even found pets lying right where they died, next to their owners. It's like the entire city just hit pause on a totally normal day. But you know what? The story isn't over.
Not quite, because modern science has found one last, dark secret hidden in the ashes, a twist that challenges everything we thought we knew about how the people of Pompeii actually died. Okay, so for years the thinking was that people died a pretty awful death, slowly suffocating on all that toxic gas and ash. A truly terrifying way to go. But now, a new scientific theory paints a very different and maybe even more chilling picture. It suggests their end wasn't slow at all. It was instantaneous. So what caused it? Something called a pyroclastic surge. Now, try to imagine this. It's like a super fast avalanche, but it's not made of snow. It's made of superheated gas and volcanic ash, moving at hundreds of miles an hour. We're talking temperatures so high, hundreds and hundreds of degrees, that it could kill you in a fraction of a second, instantly.
Just think about what that really means. If this is true, they didn't suffer. They didn't have time to choke on ash or feel the buildings collapsing. The wave of heat was so intense, so fast that they were gone before their brains could even process that something was wrong. It also means those famous poses. Maybe they weren't people trying to shield themselves in their final moments. Maybe it was just an involuntary, instantaneous physical reaction to that incredible heat. A final, silent end.
When you get right down to it, the reason the story of Pompeii sticks with us, why it's so powerful, is because it's more than just a history lesson, right? It's a huge, timeless warning, a reminder of just how fragile we are when faced with the raw power of nature.
And that really leaves us with one last pretty sobering thought. What Pompeii teaches us is that sometimes there's no time. No time to escape, no time to say goodbye. It really forces you to stop and ask, what's important in the time that we do have? What can this city, frozen in a single instant almost 2,000 years ago, teach us about how we should live our lives right now?